What is up, Babylonians? Dan was here, and today we're actually going to be doing a new series which is based on Amazon's New World. So we're going to be doing what I'm going to be calling the Basics series, which is going to be looking at the basic skills that you can do, the basics. So, for example, basic weaponry skills that you can get, and just a little insight on what you can do with certain weapons, certain skills, certain crafting, etc. And then we'll move on to looking at the more advanced features in the future as well. So we can then look into which weapons you should choose, which weapons skills you should choose, and any of the other passive skills within there as well. So today's Sword and Shield, so let's get into it. So the Sword and Shield is going to be the very first weapons that you actually pick up. So as you can see here, it's got like a three click mode really. So you click once, it's a swing, click a second time, swing once again. Third time it does like a little spin attack. You can also do the heavy attacks as well, and you can obviously do it as a sequence of 1, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. So you don't have to do the full sequence of the 3 hits. You can just do the one if you need to, or you can do the heavy attack and then go into the 1, 2, 3, whichever one's best for yourself. Now, you can also raise your shield up to give you that added extra defense. Now, with all weapons, you can do this, or all melee weapons, should I say. You can do this. Obviously, with ranged weapons, you'll actually bring up a better crosshair where you can have better aiming stability, but we'll go into that when we look at the ranged weapons. But with melee weapons, you can actually bring up your weapon, or in this case it is going to be the shield, to actually provide that little bit extra defense, or in the case of the shield, quite a bit more defense. So why would you do this? Well, when you're fighting the larger enemies, you're going to be trying to attack when they are not attacking. When they are attacking, you're going to either want to dodge, or you're going to want to bring your shield up to defend and reduce the amount of damage taken, even reducing it to nothing. Now, doing this does actually drain your stamina, so you need to watch out for that as well, and that's the same with dodging as well. You can't just constantly dodge, you've got to keep an eye on your stamina, but attacking, you don't need to worry too much about that at all, because you can attack as much as you want until you inevitably die. Now, let's take a look at some fun, exciting stats. Swords will actually use the strength and the dexterity, which will increase the damage that you do with your basic attacks, your heavy attacks, and any of your skills as well, including the skills that use the shield. With the Sword and Shield, you actually have 2 different paths that you can go down. So one will be the more offensive path, which is the Swordmaster, and then you have the Defender, which is the more defensive path. So with Swordmaster, the skills that you get will be Whirling Blade, which deals 145% weapon damage to all foes within 2 meters. You then have the Reverse Stab, that deals 175% weapon damage to, I believe it's a single target, or if you're lucky, then you may hit an extra target with that. And then you have the Leaping Strike, which allows you to leap forwards by 6 meters and deal 135% of your weapon damage. And then with the Defender, you have skills such as the Shield Rush, which is quite an offensive skill really. It deals 125% weapon damage after rushing forward 5 meters. And then you go into a bit more defensive with the Shield Bash, which deals 50% of the weapon damage, but then stuns the foes in front of you for 2 seconds. And the third skill that they have is the Defiant Stance, which for 8 seconds reduces the incoming base damage from attackers by 30%. And then the final skills that you can get, so Leadership with the Swordmaster increases the damage by all of your group members by 10%. I'm not sure if there's a limit on the distance on this, so we'll have to have a look into that. And then for the Defender, whilst blocking, reduced damage to all allies within 2 meters by 30%. So that's good for if you're in a group, you can reduce all of your friendlies that are standing next to you by 30%. So that would allow you to defend whilst your teammates are attacking one of those bigger enemies as well. Now, why go sword and shield, you might ask, over any of the other weapons, which obviously we have not yet covered, but will cover? Well, sword and shield looks like it's going to be the kind of weapon that's going to be a brilliant all-rounder. You're going to have a pretty great defense using that shield, but you're not going to be losing out on too much damage with the sword as well. So from what we've seen so far with the early gameplay, the sword is fairly competent in dealing damage. When it comes to something, for example, I'm actually using the hatchet on my character at the moment. The hatchet deals probably about 20 more damage per hit at the moment on a low level. And doesn't have nearly as much defense as the sword does. So it's actually worth having that sword and the shield for your survivability. Now, later game, which obviously we do not know about just yet, we have not quite got there, but we will look into that shortly. But as a guess, later game, you're going to find that the sword and shield is going to be very useful in surviving the expeditions, especially when we're coming up against the bosses or the elites, whatever they're going to be called in this. We're going to find that you're going to be the tanky character if you are going sword and shield. So that being said, what kind of playstyle can you expect from this? Well, I don't think you're going to be going for major DPS. I think you're going to be able to hold your own. I think this is going to be perfectly fine if you're playing this solo. You're going to be happy as Larry attacking enemies. You're going to have great survivability still, while still dealing out enough damage to sort of keep up with anyone else around you. But I don't think it's going to be the best for DPS at the moment. Now, with this, you are lacking some kind of range, so without going too much into it, the hatchet you can also throw and have that as a ranged attack, whereas with the sword and the shield, you are pretty much, I believe it's a maximum of 5 meters with one of the skills, so you're going to be struggling to actually hit anything that's too far away. So if you're chasing down an enemy or a turkey, for example, they like to run from you, or the rabbits, you might struggle getting those. But as a whole, I think the sword and shield is a great all-rounder. If you're not too confident that you can survive in New World very easily, then I would say stick with the sword and shield. You can't go far wrong with that in terms of survivability and a good level of damage as well. Now, I'm hoping that you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been a bit informative for you. We are going to go through all the other weapons soon. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, then by all means give it a thumbs down. Let us know in the comments where we've gone right, where we've gone wrong, and what weapons you'd like to see next. Like I say, we are going to go through all of the weapons, but if there's anything you'd like to have a look at first, if you're thinking that you'd like to maybe see the hatchet next, or you want to see the warhammer next, just because you're thinking that's something you might go into if you purchase this game, or if you ever get to log into this game, then by all means drop it in a comment down below and we'll have a look into that for you. Once again, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Keep yourself safe, keep yourself well, and we'll see you in the next video. Enjoy. A big thank you to all our supporters, all of our fans, and anyone who becomes a lover. We really appreciate you, and if you haven't already but you really want to join all of those guys, then click on that join button down below the video. Thank you very much.